is what is the real state of the world from your D.C. sources? I have some of the same sources, but I mean, I think we've had a point where the elite themselves are now forgetting about control. They're putting up a facade of control while they steal as much as they can, as fast as they can. Is that an accurate statement?
That's absolutely accurate. You know, Alex, guys, you'll notice that I've spent the majority of this program not talking about Hillary. Hillary will come. That will come. But what is impending right now, what's coming right now, we are, well, I've always done this. See that? See that distance right there between my thumb and forefinger? That's how close we are to this baby collapsing. You better be ready. And you better...
By the way, I've been interviewing you for 21 years. You're one of the first interviews I ever did on radio, Larry. And I've never heard you say collapse. I mean, you never got into economic stuff. I mean, what's going on?
Well, if you know what I unfortunately, maybe fortunately know, you'll see exactly what's coming. And that's why I tell people, Alex, tell you or ask you to tell your audience, read the signs. These things going on around the world. Remember, we're usually the last ones to know. But it's coming, and it's coming hard, and it's coming fast. I'll tell you one other thing. Folks, you're not getting anything on your money in the bank. We're in the middle, Alex. Even people in Washington, a couple of senators I know well that you know have even told me, you know, Nichols, you were right. We are in the beginning of the end of the soft coup. A silent coup, soft coup. That means our government's fixing to change. They're afraid it's fixing to change. Now, here's what happens when a country starts to change. First thing is you've got in the banking area, you've got nationalization. Guys, I've been in 4 countries, 2 of which I was a part of the thing that helped make them go into the coup. But I've been in 4 countries, and in each country, 3 things happened. First was the nationalization of the banks. That's going to come when the nasty secret from the major bank comes out. Now, I think if you look at Puerto Rico, imagine this, Alex. What if one of the 5 major banks in this nation held a disproportionate share of the 107 million, which is just the payment they defaulted on, of Puerto Rico's debt, and they belly up? Now think about that. So what happens when it gets that critical? The country, the government comes in and nationalizes the banks. You say, well, that can't happen. I'm sorry, didn't they just do that with health care? Our 5th largest thing in the country, they did it there. They come in, they nationalize the bank. Second thing is negative interest. Now, I hear people all the time saying, well, boy, I hope we get negative interest. My house payment will go down. No, negative interest does not mean your house payment's going to go down. Negative interest is a political term for once the banks are taken over by the government.
They're going to charge you to keep money in your bank and do bail-ins. And the bankers are going to give all themselves the stimulus money. It's now, absolute robbery.
The third thing is repatriation, Alex. Repatriation. That's when they take your money. That's when you go to the bank, as Brazil, as Greece, as Portugal, as several countries have done. You go to the bank to get your money out, and they say, I'm sorry, we just can't do it. You know, in Greece, they allow you today, still today, you can only take $37 a week out. I don't care if you got $1 million in. Those things are coming. So let me ask you this, Alex. I don't know. What do people make putting their money in a bank now? I mean, 1% maybe, or whatever, interest. I would get my money and get it to where I can see it, where I can hold it, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to have cash. And by the way, if you don't think you better get the foods and supplies today for the day this happens, has anybody been around, like in Arkansas, maybe Texas is the same way, Alex, when a snowstorm's coming? You know, you hear on the news and weather, a storm's coming. Go to the grocery store a little bit late, and you go to the aisles, and the aisles are stripped bare of bread and milk and such. Well, think about this. When this happens, it'll be amazing how fast the grocery store shelves will empty. So I suggest that you listen to me real tight. And you better understand, I don't bluff and I don't kid, especially about something like this. You better get the supplies you need. Now, I don't know if you sell them, Alex, or somebody else does. That's somebody else's business other than mine. But you better get them.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Well, Larry, you're about to leave us. I want to get you back up in the next few weeks. Overall, we've been praying for you. You look pretty good overall. I know you've been through a lot. I'm going to put up on screen for folks. You don't even ask for this, but if people want to try to support you so you can keep getting the medical attention you need, the last 20-something years you've given up everything you had. You were very successful to expose these people. I talked to the Clinton Chronicles folks. You didn't even ask for money to be in those films that sold millions of copies. Wish you would have. You wouldn't be in this position. Yeah. But Nichols Live at AOL.com. Nichols Live at AOL.com. And we try to help Larry out a little bit, too. We went up there and interviewed him. You know, helped him a little bit with his chemo and stuff. But Nichols Live at AOL.com. Or you can write to him at 58 Kingsington Drive, Conway, Arkansas, 72034. And also pray for him as well. Nichols Live at AOL.com.
And Alex, I got to say one thing in closing. What you're talking about, people getting in with the emails to you, that is phenomenally critical. They have got to sign up and get on the email list. And I'm not doing this to promote Alex. I'm telling you, we've got to have a way to get direct communication.
That's right. Even when they shut most of the web off, which they admit, remember they would deny Obama's internet kill switch, and then they said, no, it's real. We put it in 5 years ago. The email, though, is so digital, it'll still be able to be sent basically over phones and things, so we can then get that list if we have it, and still, hopefully, through some other systems, we have some stuff set up in Europe, some stuff set up in Latin America, to let everybody know. We're still going to be able to try to email you. So we're actually getting ready, folks. I'm getting storable food and things built up here at the office and medical supplies and things because the elite are doing it. Larry Nichols, God bless you. We'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Thank you, buddy. See you. See you all.
Thank you, sir. Look, I want to explain something here. I was on air in 1995. I was on radio by 1996, syndicated by 1997. And I missed the boat. I thought Y2K was a total fraud. And you go back to my earlier shows, you hear that. The Navy said 40 states would collapse. The government put the reports out. Congress did. And I said, this is an excuse to have billions to these tech companies to replace all the chips and telecommunications so that the NSA can spy on people. That's what NSA insiders told me, like Wayne Madsen and others. But then as the hype built up a few months before it, I took sponsors. I got ready. I started to believe it because everybody was saying it was an absolute. It had to happen. And then my gut was right. It was a fraud. There was some problems and things, and there was some issues in computers, but you just reboot them. But it was an excuse to get all this updated tech in, this smart grid of control. It was part of that. It was an NSA takeover worldwide to get the new tech in place because a lot of stuff wasn't compatible. It was an upgrade, covered in hysteria. And by the end, just under the hype and peer pressure, and I was a lot younger then, I bought into it. And it was a fraud. I don't want to think this collapse is real. I don't want to believe it's happening. I'm in the middle of it too. But there is defaults happening all over the world. There's pension funds being grabbed. They're grabbing people's bank accounts in Europe. The same globalists run that. They're making preparations here. They're trying to pass laws in Congress saying that. They have passed laws to grab your pension funds. And so we've gone from this being a possibility to a probability. Now, I don't know how bad the crash is going to be, but it's already started around the world. So absolutely, do I try to then sell storable food and water filters and things? Because I'm already doing that myself to be prepared. That's what normal folks do. It's what Boy Scouts do. Not trying to fund us off doing what I believe in? Absolutely. So there's no guilt there. You know, the media will spin it and go, look at you selling water filters and food while the elite are all storing food and you know, drinking filtered water because they know the water's already so poisonous. I say filtered water because of what's already in it. Every day I see like 10, 15 articles about Texas or Ohio or Michigan or California and, you know, all the lead, mercury, and arsenic, and how toxic it is. I mean, But you see what's going on and the derivatives and the buildup and the armored vehicles getting delivered locally and Soros trying to cause a civil war. I don't know what the trigger's going to be, and I pray every day that we somehow make it out of this, somehow things don't go to pot, somehow things don't unravel with all these wars and menacing Russia and menacing China and all the stuff that's going on. I hope every moment that I'm wrong, but you know what my gut tells me, and it's never wrong? It says you shouldn't even be here right now. You should be taking whatever little money you got out of the bank. You should be getting more storable foods. You should be getting more vitamins and minerals stockpiled. You should be getting medicine stockpiled. And that's what I'm doing. You should be getting ready for a long-haul depression. And you should be getting a place even further out in the country off some dirt road somewhere. I mean, my gut, that's never been wrong, tells me I'm in deep trouble and I need to get geared up for my family. Now, sometimes you get a big scare and you realize that it was a close call. Your gut was right, but things went okay. I hope that's the case. But yes, if people don't go to InfoWarsStore.com, which has the very best storable foods, the lowest prices out there, and get a 4-week, a 3-month, a 6-month, a year food supply, if you have the funds to do it, I think you're crazy if you don't, because you can eat your investment if, thank God, you don't need it. But they pushed the whole Y2K thing, I now realize, years ago, as a way down the road with real emergencies they had planned to discredit prepping. But prepping's hotter than ever because people instinctively see how unsustainable this civilization is. We are back live. I am your host, Alex Jones. Look, here's the deal. The globalists have a worldwide plan where they've engineered theft and collapse as a sexy, cool thing to have a post-industrial world to save the earth from modern civilization. That's the cover story, the feel-good story, the cosmology that they give high-level controllers as a mental narrative to follow. And then they have the mid-level minions and operatives that also pick up that agenda. Below that, they tell people that doesn't exist. You know, it's crazy. There's no world government. There's no new world order. But then in the publications and things at Whole Foods and stuff, they say that it's good to be poor. It's good to have nothing. It's good to have a low-carbon footprint. You're going to have nothing in the future. It's sexy to have nothing. It's sexy to be sterile. It's sexy to not have kids. It's sexy to just roll over and die because we, the elite, are going to inherit the earth. It's sexy that Germans have no kids, basically, and we're going to bring in jihadis. They're going to rape and kill you, and you're going to thank us for it. And then on TV, the Germans go, yes, we are scum. Thank you. You know, we're in a cult. Germans, you know, can say, invent a lot of stuff. They're smart people. But culturally, they follow orders. That's why you can say they're real good at in engineering and factories and, you know, warfare and stuff. But I guess all the free-minded Germans must have moved over here or something. And I guess the folks that follow orders stayed in Germany. All I'm saying is I'm part German. That's not my instinct. And, of course, I mean, you could sit there and say Germany's been mixing and, you know, with all other folks in Europe. That's why Hitler, the consummate eugenicist and racist, thought that England was the holy land of his, you know, pure Aryan race and all the rest of it. But the point is, we're under scientific attack. But even the globalists don't follow their own brainwashing. They claim they've got organized theft, organized control, but they themselves are stealing as fast as they can. Even though it's going to bring down their own system, they can't help it. But they're smart, so they realize they better build airfields and helicopter pads in rural areas of the Ozarks in the U.S. or rural areas of New Zealand or rural areas of Australia or rural areas of Western Europe. They are digging in. And so that's the most concerning sign we see. Now, there's a bunch of Trump clips I haven't gotten to yet. I want to start playing some of those ahead of our next guest joining us. But let's go ahead and go to this clip. Trump, Hillary is proud of NAFTA and wants TPP. Yeah, what is there to be proud of with the TPP? Then we're going to go to break with more.
He signed NAFTA. NAFTA is one of the worst trade deals ever made by any country at any time. It has cleaned out our country. It has cleaned out our country of jobs. You take a look at New England, take a look at upstate New York and Pennsylvania, and take a look at Maryland, where I just left, and take a look at every place. We've been cleaned out by the worst bill, economic development bill, or whatever you want to call it, ever. Mexico is taking our jobs. They're